So I need to put something in here, and I've gone round the houses a few times on this. So the obvious choice for me would be to stick a 1UZ in, because I've got 1UZ, there's a spare 1UZ kicking about, probably just needs a head gasket, and I've kind of got enough stuff that I could put one together with a gearbox and things. All the upgrades that are going on to that's going to mean that I need a new clutch for it, so I have a spare clutch. I've got a spare adapter kit, and there's a bunch of stuff that I could do to get a 1UZ in there. But I've kind of been going off the idea. It makes a bit of sense, but I've realised that I want something different. So the weekend there, I was driving like a really low powered car, and it was brilliant fun. Like, just the amount of effort and input you have to do to make something like that work is it's a completely different experience than that. And what I've kind of realised is that I want a different experience. I don't want two cars that are the same. So what's the point in making another V8 car thinking, oh, let's just put like a little turbo on it and try and run it on without standalone, so it's just making a bit of power. And I kind of start realising that, and it's just really the 14, but a not as good version. So then I started thinking, well, maybe I go 6-cylinder. Stick 6-cylinder, stick 3 litre in there. You know, that's going to be easy. Super easy thing to do. It makes loads of sense, because, you know, you can go out, turn as many laps as you want, and it'll be easy to drive with everyone else, because everyone else will have the same kind of car and that, you can go out with a bunch of mates who'll all have a similar powered car. But then I drove that car at the weekend, and then I went and watched the video with the Drift My Ride video, which I did with Josh Stuff's E46 compact. And I was like, I just remember loving that car. I remember just being so much fun. A little 1.9, and you just had to like kick its head in, and it took it. I loved it, and it was just like a little go-kart, and doing all those things, like driving it as hard as you have to drive it, all the inputs you have to do to, like, how much thinking you have to do to make it do a skid. I was like, that's quite useful to be able to know, or to be able to go back to that. Like, that 14, loads of lock, loads of power, it kind of can be quite easy to do some of the time. So why not make a car that has a bit more challenge to it and like a completely different experience? So I had one kicking about for another project. Well, I was going to stick it in there, but I've decided that would I might as well stick a 1UZ in there and twin turbo it, or do something absolutely crazy with that, because, well, it's never going to be any good at anything. So it's the MGB that it'll probably never skid, but it'd be hilarious if it was mega power. So I'd much rather do that, and then why not stick a 1.9 in there? And I have a 1.9 down there. There we go. She's in. Sitting on the mounts. That's actually like they're in place. Both sides. I need to work out what the gearbox is doing, but I've just stuck that on the jack at the moment. But what I ended up doing is moving the column, moving this bit. Pulled the rack out as well, just sort of moved all that out of the way. Way easier. It's going to be a bit of a You're gonna need to disconnect it from here just to get the rack back in. It's just she doesn't want to go back in because the wheels are starting to point in and out and it just doesn't work. So I want to, but I'll leave the, what I do is I just want to take it off here because I want to keep the alignment that Josh have on it. He loved it. He spent a lot of time setting up, so I want to know what that is, and I've not measured it yet. So yeah, but God, look how much space there's going to be in front of that engine. Look how far they are. Where's the wheels? Engine miles back. The front of the engine is pretty much in line with the front middle of the wheels. Yeah, this is a good idea. So, we're gonna have a bunch of wiring and stuff to do. So with this compact, one of the things I want to do is I want to run the same wheels that I'm running on the 14. Now there's a stack of Jap spec wheels there, but obviously there's an issue with that, and the PCD is not the same. A reason I'm drilling the hubs and not just buying the adapters, those normally come quite thick. They're like 20 mil, I think it's pretty much the minimum. All my wheels are quite aggressive offset anyway. And if I start adding 20 mil spacers to things, none of my Japs wheels would work on it. I like the wheels I've got, that I can use them on 2 different cars. There's plenty of them there. So you just save a bit of space around the garage. So this is from Wizard of Luck, and I will show you how you use this, and you can use this to convert your BMW hubs to Jap spec. So the way I did mine, and this was just to save a wee bit of time, is I put the disc on, put my, what do you call it, in the little Allen key bolt. You don't really need that, but that secured the disc in place. Then get a couple of wheel nuts, put that in place. One, I'm doing this super loose. One in, and then just another one. There you go. You tighten them right up. Now you've got the disc, and then you've got the hub on. And then what you do is you drill your pilot holes, and they supply you a whatever size, I don't know, 3 or 4 mil drill bit to drill through. Now the reason I did it like this is because then when you're doing your pilot hole, you drill straight through the disc and the hub in one go, and it saves you having to do the hub and then do the disc separately. It just saves a wee bit of time. Also helps a massive amount is having it on a pillar drill. So this, I've already done one side, so I'm just now finishing off this side and tapping it with some, where's my tap? They give you 2. What I've been using one to do a sort of first run through, and then you taking that out, doing all 5 of them, and then using the other one to give it a final nice cleaner one, because I'm finding out this one's getting a bit mucked up, but it's getting the threads in there, and then doing a final cut with that last one, get some nice threads. And then both of those, when I do the fronts though, I've got a set of new hubs coming, because what you can see with these ones is these wheel hubs are quite thick now, which means you get a decent amount of thread through it. The problem is with the fronts, the front hubs I've got on are not like that. So see the fronts here, that's what you've got. So they come narrow. Now I've bought a set of front hubs that are thick the whole way around. So when I tap and drill it, I'm not just going to have this tiny bit of metal, and I have way more. So yeah, Jap wheels on there soon. And then, because I'm running Jap wheels, I'll be able to use the same tyres. I've got a set of spares, and then I don't know if this is going to work, but I've got all my Zestinos, or all my dead Zestinos. There's loads of them that they're not that great. There's like on this car they'd last a couple of laps, maybe a wee bit more, but on that thing, even though it's going to have tiny power, if I put them up at mega tire pressures, they might work, they might not. They'll be fine in the wet, but maybe in the dry I'm asking too much. But won't know until I try. They got me new hubs through for the front, and they sent me ones that are different from the ones that are in the picture. I should put the picture up of the ones ordered off YouTube, but not YouTube, of eBay. And these bits don't have the recess in them, but I've worked out it's 9mm thickness if I drill these. So I'm drilling them. Disc on, hubs on underneath. What do you call it in place? Adapter, drill, pilot, jig thing. So doing this, then putting them on there when I go get Mark to press out the other ones, because I don't have a press. I've had my flywheel back because I'm going to use the original one that was in there, and it was like, this bit was mega thick. It was basically double the thickness, so they have machined that down and also put this wee chamfer in it. So now we're about 8.5 kilograms. So it's a decent amount we've saved. Flywheel's in now. All nice, and they redid the surface on it as well. So, because there was a couple of high spots in it. So that's way better. So now I'm going to stick my old clutch in. That's over there. It's got plenty of meat on it, and fingers crossed it's going to work. Oh, even this bearing, it's felt absolutely mint. Not even changed it. That's probably going to bite me in the ass. Doing a wee ghetto clean up with this. Just doing it. I'm not doing it hard, but yeah, just put it a wee chance when it gets in there. Flywheel in, torqued up. Got my little alignment tool. Just a nose of a gearbox cut off. I have had to do some little fixes to a couple of corners on the flywheel. Basically, two of the bolts got stuck in that flywheel, and I angle grinded them out, and there was some cut marks in the pressure disc, and I have welded them up, which is probably quite sketchy. On the gearbox, I'm having to take off, it was this end, so that was on there, and you can see it's kind of slightly offset, and a different bore size than this one. So this is the one I run on the 14, and that's got like an IRP shifter in it. This is going to have the same deal, because I want the same feel. So I need this slightly different one. You can see that sits on. It's just a center one, so I just need to remove this sort of lock ring, and then there's a pin that'll slide out, push it on, and then this bar, it's got that clip comes off and it'll go through there, and that gets you, center it up. So that should work with the position of that and the position of that gearbox. This bar might need to be lengthened, I don't know yet, but I'll find that out. So that's that ring off, and then there's this little bit that comes out. Push that out there. Then when you do, slide it over, and then pop this down. That should go through that hole. Get it in there, and then pop this ring back on. Oh, there you go. Now that pin's locked in place. I was so close to doing a major stupid move. Gearbox, that I'd literally had about 4 bolts in there, and then looked down onto the ground to find that needs to go in on there. Right, let's get this in and in properly so the tabs are in the right place. This is actually a second-hand one I had kicking about. It was hardly in for any miles. It was way better than that piece of junk. It's just rubbish. That's me just mounted in. Stainless exhaust that I made up. Stewart's SMTP Motorsport. Quite good. I've had to add these hangers on, so it's like there's quite like that was my shoddy welding. And I've not got a TIG, so these are all migged in, but it was stainless wire, so hopefully it doesn't rust up. And then just another wee one here, couple of welds on there, and that little number here. It's pretty solid. That flexi is definitely needed. The exhaust stops here as well, so if you're doing anything in drive shafts, this is not in the way. It's got a wee exit out kind of this way, so when the car's moving, like, it's not going to draw hot air in through the radiator. Yeah, blow rakes of smoke out, go. The last piece of one of the last pieces of the puzzle. Gear stick, IRP. Get these from Neil Dawson at KD Customs. So he's hooked me up with one of these. I'm trial fitting this one because this is the non-centered ones I've got in the 14. I've got the one that centers, but Neil says these ones are just as good. So I'm fitting this. Bolted it in. I had to make up some bracketry because the old setup wouldn't have worked. I basically put the nuts in, or the bolts in upwards, and welded them onto tabs and bolted in from there. So that's in. I like the position it's in. Another amazing thing. Oh my God, look at it's so cold. The doors come off this thing. You just lift them off. Oh, that is so cool. It makes it so much easier to get in, and like when you're a tall boy like me, buggering about in here. So yeah, get in there. Forgive the mess, it needs cleaned. Right, I'll show you what I have to do underneath. You can see underneath, so what I've had is this bar wasn't long enough, so I've had to weld two together. And I've kind of done a whoop, like that, so it's not just like a straight cut there and one weld, so that should be super strong. So that's in. I don't know if I showed you this. In my new exhaust, I welded some of this. Sure, SMT Motorsport welded the good bits, but I welded that bit with my MIG welder with some stainless steel or some stainless wire in it. I didn't even know you could do that. So she's a bit quieter. Right, prop on. And then I'm going to have a working car that I don't know if it overheats because I don't have a temperature sensor that I trust. Check it out.
What we do here is go back, 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 back.